Flog It in half an hour on BBC Two. First, dramatic world events cause concern at the country house, along with some happier times.
At Woburn Abbey, they're celebrating the birth of the first baby to be born into the family for over a quarter of a century. Maternity nurse Nanny Pat is finding the prospect of leaving her young charge extremely difficult.
I should probably have a few tears. I usually do. But there you go. I can't be with her forever, and I'm not her mother, am I?
And all the change at Woburn is proving difficult for Lady Tavistock.
Do you know, for years, I've been here, it's 27 years now. And whenever I really think I cannot cope anymore and I get totally out of balance, I'll come down and I'll go into that hollow bit.
Yep.
And you think, what am I making a fuss about? This tree is still standing. It's amazing. And I'm making a fuss about nothing.
Although the running of the vast Woburn estate is now formally the responsibility of son and heir Lord Howland, Lady T is still involved. Today she's with Mike Cox, who's in charge of parks and grounds, and they're visiting the most famous tree at Woburn.
Because, I mean, you can't believe that tree. When do you think, when they carbon dated it, when did they say they thought it was?
1043.
1043.
It's the oldest tree on the estate.
I mean, 1043, that's before the Norman invasion.
Absolutely.
Do you know, for years, I've been here, it's 27 years now. And whenever I really think I cannot cope anymore and I get totally out of balance, I'll come down and I'll go into that hollow bit.
Yep.
And you think, what am I making a fuss about? This tree is still standing. It's amazing. And I'm making a fuss about nothing.
Well, if you go in that hole at the moment, my lady, be careful, there's a big wasp nest in there.
Oh, you must like me if you tell me that, because most people wouldn't have told me at all. They'd have let me be bitten all over.
This is probably the most stressful time of your life for years, Lady T, isn't it? Moving out of the Abbey and handing over all you've worked for and so on.
I think it's a difficult time now. It's a very difficult time when you're not going forward and your responsibilities, in a way, are still there. But in the short term, it's difficult.
But why are you feeling more stressed? You're handing over
I think
power.
I
You
have
live in
more-
a wonderful
I
place
think
and
I
a
have-
life of
I think I
privilege, and
have-
why are you stressed?
Well,
She's got people like me working for her.
what is a life of privilege? Tell me what a life of
A
privilege
life
is.
of privilege is being able to come down to this 1,000-year-old tree and watch it and be with it
You're
without hearing or seeing a soul.
100% right, but that doesn't happen. Because there are, if you are lucky enough to have the privilege of having an estate like that employs over 500 people, you have a commitment to each and every one of them. So times to sit under the tree aren't often.
Since taking over Woburn, Lord Howland works very long hours. And after the birth of Alexandra, Lady H splits her time between helping him and being a mother at the estate house they're living in until they move into the Abbey.
Haven't you, darling?
Everybody on the estate says how good fatherhood has been for Lord Howland.
You know, it really is now a family, and I think it's quite nice because you've got someone to come home to, and we haven't even yet been married a year.
Even a year yet.
No.
This is what he's always wanted, though, isn't it? Family.
Yes, I think he has. No, but he absolutely adores her, and she adores her daddy. I think she's already got him wrapped around her little finger.
Really?
I'll leave her to cry a little bit, but he's the first one to pick her up.
What about the rest of the family?
Lord T is absolutely wonderful with her.
Lord T?
Yes, and he will, won't he, darling? He'll take you in her pram around the park.
Does he do that?
Yes, he loves doing that. And you have a little chat, don't you?
Now, what about the christening?
It'll be in the Abbey church. And she has got 6 godparents. So she's very lucky.
It's amazing, isn't it? You can already begin to see the family resemblance there.
Well,
I can see a bit of Lady Tavistock there and Lord Tavistock, actually.
Can you? Yes.
especially.
Well, I think a lot of people think that she's got Henrietta's nose, But I keep looking at her and I think, oh, well, maybe there might be a little bit of me in there somewhere. I think I sometimes can be quite laid back, and I think that she, at the moment, so far, has been quite laid back. So maybe she might have a little bit of my character.
Lady T, you have pretty traditional views on life. How do you see Alexandra's future? I mean, what kind of education should she have?
Oh, it's not, I don't know. I mean, it's just, you know, I think you plan your own children's upbringing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if she'll go to boarding school or not go to boarding school. I hope she doesn't. I don't like girls. I don't see the point of girls going to boarding school. I'm not mad keen on overeducated women. I'm not sure that it makes women happier in the end.
You're joking.
So this is very controversial.
You can see that again. Well, why do you say that? Did you go to boarding school?
No.
Well, why do you think that then?
Well, I travelled. My father travelled lots. I partly had a governess and I went to day school. I was supposed to go to boarding school nearly every term from when I was about 11. And every sort of term, my mother would put it off again. I'm actually very glad I never went. But I'm not sure that it's necessary for girls to go to boarding school. I think little boys, it's a great help for them.
But come on, why do you think that girls shouldn't get a full education?
Well, I don't think women should not have the vote. I'm not that
Well, that's
radical.
That's something then.
But I don't think, you know, I don't think this idea of any job a man can do, a woman should be allowed to do too.
Why not?
You know, just the same as I don't think that any job a woman can do, a man should have, you know, be doing. We're different.
So that's an extraordinary thing to say. I mean, what would have happened if instead of having 3 sons, you'd had daughters?
I'm very glad for them, probably, that I had 3 sons, because I think they might have found it quite difficult to be brought up by me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I feel quite strongly about it.
Yeah.
We'll put her in, darling. You go for a nice walk. We've got hiccups. In you go. There we go, with Peter Rabbit.
Maybe I should.
Peter Rabbit also sings to her.
Well, maybe I should wind Peter Rabbit up.
Let's wind Peter
Yeah, let's
Rabbit up.
wind
Peter
Go on,
Rabbit
Mummy.
will sing to her.
Go on, Mummy. Wind Peter Rabbit up.
And he moves his head, which everyone says that when she starts to crawl, she'll be really good,
Yeah,
yes.
she'll be doing all the actions.
So there we go.
Oh, sweet. We'll just go for a quick little walk,
Yeah.
shall we?
There we go.
Okay, my dolly. There we go, my baby friend. See you later, Lady H.
Bye.
Won't be long.
Bye-bye.
Nanny Pat is a maternity nurse and generally only stays with new babies for their first few months. Now she's going to be replaced by a permanent nanny.
Walkies.
So, Pat, will it be hard?
It
saying
will be
goodbye?
hard. It will be hard, yeah, because I've been here quite a long time.
And you have to hand over to a permanent nanny.
Yes, I know that's going to be the saddest part, because we all work different. I mean, I give her lots of... Well, I'm sure the other nanny will give her lots of love, but I give her lots of love, lots of cuddles, and sing to her, and we have cosies in the morning.
It's almost like saying goodbye to your own child, isn't it?
It is. I should probably have a few tears. I usually do. But there you go. I can't be with her forever, and I'm not her mother, am I? Her best place is with her mother and her father, and they adore her.
But handing over or handing back the baby is something you must have done dozens of times
I have.
before. But you still get upset by it.
I still get upset. Well, it's not so bad if you've only been there 2 or 3 weeks. It's not
She's been
so
here
bad. But
2 or 3
when
months, hasn't she?
yeah, I mean, I was at another job for 2 years, and that was terrible.
You look a bit emotional now,
Oh,
just thinking
please.
about it.
Yeah, I suppose I do. Yeah, don't start me off.
No.
Don't start me off.
You've been happy here, then?
I have, yes, because I thought it was going to be very lonely, but no, I have been happy here now. I would come back if Lady H and Lord H has another one and they call on me. Yeah, I think I'd like to come back again. Yeah, I would. Let's hope they have a boy next time.
You'd like a boy, then?
Well, I think they would, wouldn't you? I mean, I don't mind. I love them all, and as long as they're all healthy, I don't mind, but I'm sure they would love a boy. I'm sure they would. But she'll always be my number one, won't she?
One of the things that attracts people to work at Woburn is the sense of stability and tranquility that has evolved over the centuries. Today, many estate workers still live in cottages in the surrounding villages that have been owned by the family for hundreds of years. Often, even after retirement, staff are allowed to stay at Woburn and not move away. It's a system that's worked extremely well since feudal times, according to Mike Coggs.
Mike, this looks like an idyllic place
Thank you.
to live, is it?
Yeah, we like it. Yeah, brilliant.
Now, like so many people here at Woburn, this house goes with the job, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, yeah.
How does that work?
Well, we don't get the biggest wage in the world, but then we get a free house. And, you know, we maintain it and look after it as best we can. But obviously any major problem with that, we've got the security of the maintenance staff at the Abbey.
So when you retire, you'll stay here?
Hopefully, yes.
For as long as you
Yeah.
like?
Hopefully, yes.
And that suits you?
Yes, why not? Yeah. I mean, Woburn's been part of my life now for many years, and I would be very disappointed if, you know, at the end of the day, they didn't come to me and say, look, Mr. Cox, you can stay there, and just pay rent for the property.
You don't want to escape from the place when you retire, then?
No, I don't think so. I mean, this isn't a job, it's a way of life, and this is part of the way of life.
Lady Tavistock talks about the Woburn staff as being part of the family.
Absolutely.
Do you feel
yeah.
that yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you feel
Yeah.
a family member?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
But what would happen if you fell out with the family? I'm not suggesting you would, but if you did...
We fall out on a regular basis, as you well know, but...
You have an interesting relationship with Lady Tavistock, Mike, don't you?
Yeah, some say that. But neither of us bear a grudge. And at the end of the day, who's ever right usually wins, whether it's me or Lady Tavistock, or any other member of the family. No, I can't see any problems.
The Abbey itself at the centre of the estate has a number of different roles. It's famous for its collections, which every year get a complete spring clean when the house is closed to the public. But it's also a home, and these are Lord and Lady T's private apartments, where the son and heir, Lord Howland, and his new family will live when they move in. There are also a selection of beautiful rooms for the Tavistock's weekend house guests, all named after houses and parts of England the family has owned. This one is Covent Garden, the area of London the family developed in the 16th century. Today, Grant, the under-butler, is preparing for the arrival of a friend of Lord and Lady Tavistock's from overseas.
So whose are the suitcases, Grant?
They're Sid's, Sid Whitman, who's a friend of Lord and Lady T's.
They're very generous with their hospitality, aren't they? How long's he staying for?
A couple of months, because he's over from New Zealand, so he's making the most of it here.
And which suite is he in?
He's staying here, Thorney.
Thorney, yes, that's one of their other old houses, isn't it? How many rooms are there here?
There's about 12.
And they really get a lot of
12.
They really get a lot of pleasure out of weekend parties.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's what is good fun about this job. Meeting different people, and some of their friends are really nice people.
The Tavistocks are intrigued to see how their latest guest will settle into English aristocratic life.
So how do you feel now you're here?
Oh, great. Amazing, actually. Completely different to what I thought it was ever going to be.
You did?
I have to be honest.
You
Yeah.
can't see it.
Oh, no, it
You
was.
must have realised what it was going to be like.
No, because it's hard, from New Zealand to here, it's completely different. We don't have big fine houses, we don't have staff like you have here, we don't have these lifestyles. The house is huge.
Huge.
I didn't expect it to be,
What did you expect
I think
it to
Sid's going
be?
to like his little country house in England.
Yes.
I think it will.
I think I will.
So you know Sid from your stud in New Zealand?
No.
No, Sid runs the only really good restaurant in our area, and it's fantastic. It's like a club. It's more like a club than a restaurant. And he embarrasses me to death, because quite often, when I didn't know him at all well, I've been going there a few times, and we walk in one day, and all of a sudden he bellows or screams from the kitchen, which is at the back, but it's in the restaurant. Oh, hello, Mrs. T. Oh, Mr. T, isn't she cooking for you again? Everybody turns around and looks at me, and I thought, I'm going to kill him. But we got over that.
What do you think of Woburn and the Abbey there?
Oh, stunning. Absolutely stunning. Awe-inspiring. It is. It's fantastic.
But it's also quite normal, isn't
Oh,
it?
it is. It's very normal. It is. It's a
is.
family
Come
home. It's not
is
just
a
a house. It's a
family home,
family.
true.
Yeah, it's a family home. I find it. It is a home. Very comfortable.
When I first came to live here, I thought the one thing it's got to become again, because it wasn't, is a home. And just because it's bigger doesn't mean to say it can't have exactly the same feel as a little home. There's basically no difference. It's a home we share with people, really. I mean, the only thing that's totally different in this house is that, you know, all day long there are people who you don't know walking around it.
And it's a lot further to get from here to your bedroom.
You try not to forget things. That's why I carry a bag around with me.
Yes, I'm sure by the time I've been here a couple of weeks, I will also
carry everything with you. Because to keep saying, I'll just pop back to my room.
It's not easy.
Not worth it.
No.
Wow, that's one hell of a walk.
It's a bit of an effort, isn't it?
Unbelievable. So I imagine you sleep very well when you finally get up here.
Very much so, yes.
So we're on the 3rd floor now, the
Third
top floor of the Abbey, aren't we?
Yep, correct.
What do you think of
And
this
it's
room?
great. Plenty of room, plenty of size. Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
With the christening only a few days away, Lady Howland is making some last-minute preparations. It's the first family occasion she's had to organise, and she's very keen it goes smoothly.
Of things rather than a sort of stiff arrangement. I tell you what I have got. I've got some lovely tuber rose, which will really fill the church with scent.
Oh, wonderful. That would be great.
And they're long and they're lovely.
These are pretty.
Yeah, the peachy ones.
Yes, that's pretty.
The lilies, the roses I've got are lovely, quite large white ones, and they smell.
Do they?
Yeah.
No. There's nothing nicer, is there, than walking to a room or a church and you
I
can
think the tuber
smell the
rose, although
flowers.
it's quite a strange shape, it'd be lovely. Thanks. Sort of, and I've got some whiter lilies and that. Those are lovely.
Yes, no, great.
But when these are in the warm, they'll really smell beautiful.
Gosh, you can see that, yes, and then the lilies will come out.
And a tiny bit of pink and lots of green.
And lots of green.
Lots of green. I'll be down to nick a bit from the grounds.
Nanny Pat is due to leave soon after the christening and is determined to give Alexandra a very personal reminder of their time together.
You're going to be brave and record your own message?
I am going to be brave.
Excellent. Very nice.
I am going to be brave.
OK, let's go to the sound station.
And I want to dress it. I'd like to dress it as well.
Right, if we get the voice in it first and make it stuffed up, stitch it up, and then we can choose some clothes for it afterwards.
Right.
All you need to do is, when you've decided what you're going to say, press down on the grey button there.
On the grey button.
Speak as loud and clear in there, because it's got to come through the...
For the stuffing.
So it's loud and clear into here, whatever you want to say.
OK.
And then you press the white button when you've finished and it will play it back to you.
Right.
If you're happy with it, that's fine. If you want to do it again, you can do it again.
Alexandra, it's Nanny Pat. Don't cry, my baby. I love you. Time for night-nights, sweet dreams.
That's lovely.
Alexandra, it's Nanny Pat. Don't cry, my baby. I love you. Time for night-night, sweet dreams.
I think that's fantastic.
Do you think that's fine?
Excellent. I think that's wonderful.
Why have you chosen this particular present, Nanny Pat?
It's a christening present. Well, actually, it is and it isn't. It's something I want to leave her. It's the voice I want to leave her, because I've been with her for 3 months, and, you know, we've got quite close, the pair of us. We're quite emotional, I think we will be. So I thought, and maybe not now, she won't notice it, but when she gets a bit older, she'll be able to press and still hear my voice. And I think that is quite nice, don't you think? Yeah. It's different. It's different. I mean, everybody will buy a bit of silver, and you just put silver and you just put it away, where she can keep this in the cot. And eventually she will learn how to press and listen to the voice, and I hope someone will say that was Nanny Pat that looked after you.
We know that one of the...
Suddenly, the calm and tranquil atmosphere at Woburn is shattered by the events of the outside world. This is the afternoon of September the 11th, 2001.
The Pentagon issued a warning. Correction there, sorry, the State Department, the American Foreign Ministry, issued a warning, a public warning, saying that it had received notification.
Can you believe what you're saying?
Yes, I can. I actually can. Because to me, it sounds so incredibly melodramatic, but this is all. I've always thought this was going to happen, but it's happened much later than I thought it would.
I don't know whether you may have heard explosions.
From the moment they assassinated Kennedy, we started on this way of life.
You know America well, don't you?
I've been there all my life since I was 8, really. And I love America and I love Americans, but they've never been students of history, and it makes their, I think, comprehension of the world far harder for them. Americans feel whatever background you come from, as long as you are given the American way of life and a hamburger and a Hershey bar and you're comfortable and you're warm and you're safe, that's all you want. They don't look at the totally different background that people might come from, so they don't understand why people do things.
And is this going to change all that?
I don't know. I can't imagine what will happen now.
I really
can't imagine what will happen. I think the American revenge could be horrific.
Unbelievable. Is it the start of World War III?
Of particular concern is the whereabouts of the Tavistock's third son, Lord James, who's studying in America at Stanford University Business School. He was due to fly home and was last heard of in Boston, where the hijacked planes took off.
He told me I will be back in England from the 10th to the 24th, which was yesterday.
He never made sign to anybody. Would you like to get on his email and just make a signal?
Yeah,
like
and I've also I've left messages for on his mobile.
The last few weeks, there have been any number of
We'll just go and find out.
You're smoking a cigarette, Lady T.
Isn't that shocking?
Oh my God, Lady T, the whole tower's collapsing.
Oh, look at it implode. That's called
pulling
imploding.
down.
Across the world being evacuated. There has been no trading for the last couple of hours.
Can you believe what's happening in New York?
What I found really horrible is...
what?
Oh, I can't think. It was several years ago when people were talking about war. And I said, nothing is going to be like the terrorism we're going to see in the next few years.
Yeah, but were you expecting that today?
Yes, but I've been expecting water poison. I've been expecting terrorism. You know I have. You always say to me, why do you have these lurid thoughts? I've been expecting terrorism for a very long time. We've had minor terrorism, which is cars blowing up, killing people mindlessly. But somebody had to do it big, and they're getting at America. They want to really terrify.
They've terrified people. America, totally.
Despite the tragedy in the US and their obvious concern about Lord James, the family have to do their duty and put on a brave face to attend an important function at the Antique Centre that evening.
All government has disappeared. They don't know where they're putting them, but there's there and there's nuclear fallout shelters all over America. The president, they won't say where he's gone. So they're all ready. Have you heard about the aircraft carriers and the...
Oh yes, they're all going, that's right.
Well, Lady T, have you heard from Lord James?
No.
You don't know where he is?
No.
You don't know which continent he's on?
No.
Could he still be in America?
Yes. Well, I just think I just think he's extremely naughty. He's doing everything he's always been told not to do. We always all let each other know, security know where we are, because something might happen to us, him.
It's true.
You need to ring Jamie and tell him. You don't want him to search. So, sadly, he's not 16 and I can't spank him anymore.
But you're obviously worried.
Incredibly worried.
Well, it's just, you know, when all the planes except one came out of Boston.
Yeah, they did.
One came from Newark, but all the others were out of Boston. And he was in Boston on Sunday. And
you haven't heard from him since?
I haven't heard from him for 2 weeks, but I mean, I've talked to friends who had dinner with him on Sunday, and he said he was flying Monday night. But if he flew Monday night, he'd have been here Tuesday morning.
That's interesting.
Where is it?
We don't know.
I've rung his American mobile and his English mobile, and I've contacted his email and everything.
Sure.
Meanwhile, the guests are totally unaware of the family's deep concerns.
What But events today have been hugely overshadowed by the appalling news from America.
The worrying thing is trying to track down the brother, but...
This is your younger brother, James, isn't it? Lord James, yeah.
So hopefully he will appear, but when he does, he'll have a very hard time for not ringing in, but it's not rung in before, so...
So there is a precedent for this?
There is a precedent.
Bit of a blow, this news from America, isn't it?
Oh, dreadful, dreadful. Absolutely. You can't just imagine what it was like, can you? Just unbelievable.
It's a bit hard to celebrate tonight, isn't it, in a way?
Yes, just puts a damper on everything, doesn't it? Everything.
Suddenly, a call comes through to security.
Sorry.
He's in Cardiff.
Sorry, say that again?
He's in Cardiff. He was in the air when it happened, and the planes... Heathrow must be closed now.
So this is Lord Jamie. Is in Cardiff?
It's not Lord Jamie, he's Jamie.
Jamie?
He's
Is in
plain
Cardiff.
Jamie.
You look relieved.
Well, I am.
Have you spoken to him?
No, but he's going to ring in a second. Presumably he now wants a lift from Cardiff. How long does it take to go to Cardiff? 4 hours? Not even
So,
3.
Hello, girl. Look how wonderful the house looks, hey? I think you'll be very happy here. You can't ask for a better place to grow up. Anyway, you look very happy there. You do. You really do.
Finally, Alexandra's big day has arrived, and a select crowd of family and godparents gathers for her christening. Including Lady H's mother, Lady Dells Broughton. Alexandra's the first girl to be christened in the family church for 80 years.
Alexandra Louisa Clare, I baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. May God pour upon you the riches of his grace, that within the company of Christ's pilgrim people you may daily be renewed by his anointing Spirit. Amen.
In the next programme, the Tavistocks take their New Zealand guest Sid to Tavistock in Devon to experience a little bit of traditional England.
Oh, my most favourite thing.
What are they?
Roger will be so shocked.
No, it's not. Oh, you're disgusting.
No, it's the mom.
Filthy.
Dead milk. Is it one of those? It is, isn't it? It's just dead milk one.
Oh, I love it.